Hello everyone and welcome to episode 168 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by Shane.
Hey yo.
And that's it. It's just us two this week. We got a little bit of news to crack into. We're playing a few things, the usual business. Nothing too exciting except for, GTA 6. We'll talk a little about that, I'm sure. But of course that it got announced like the minute we finished recording last week, so that's fantastic. So the news is fucking old now, but whatever. As always,
I saw that on the news list. I'm like, wait, that's how?
Yep.
What?
Yep. We just that's what happens when you record on a Friday and they release news on a Saturday. Saturday at least, I guess. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is a place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat, shit post, usual bits and pieces. We try to answer as many questions and interact with you guys as much as possible, as you well know. Yeah, I guess we'll get straight into it. Yeah, GTA 6 has been delayed. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm just going to heavily imply it because I don't know. Did anyone really expect this to come out this year?
There's no way. Red Dead 2 got delayed about the same time for a year as well. So this is just Rockstar.
Yeah.
Perfectionists.
Having said that, Rockstar had not confirmed what the date was going to be. They just said it was going to be this year. They have now come out and basically said with this delay, they showed off a new trailer. Trailer looks fucking incredible, by the way. Definitely recommend you go check that out. I've never seen a game look this good, to be honest, in terms of real photorealism and just obviously, the people at Rockstar are like wizards when it comes to making games in terms of fidelity and world building and all that kind of stuff. They just understand the tech in a way that I don't think anyone else does. I mean, obviously the hundreds of millions of dollars going into it help a lot, I'm sure. But they have announced that the new release date for the game will be May 26th, which is pretty much what I predicted. I said, it makes sense to have a GTA game coming out in that sort of early summer, sort of quiet period after the February, March stuff that got delayed from this year will be out. April's usually relatively quiet. May will be pretty much dead. And this will basically, I think, continue that trend because no one's going to want to go anywhere near May.
Yeah. Now they put their flag down. Nothing's going to release in May. There's no way.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to get out of the way of Grand Theft Auto.
I guess that's good news for everyone looking to release games this year that they announced this early enough before sort of key 3 season, so that now when people can put announcements on their trailers, they can actually put dates on them.
Yeah, it's weird that right after that announcement that it got delayed, all of a sudden EA popped up with Battlefield. Like, oh, we're going to do Battlefield this year, guys. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Weird.
Yeah. I mean,
strange.
Oof, I'm very curious to see what happens with releases this year. We've had some absolute bangers, and we'll talk a little bit about what we've been playing. But it's been a very, very good start to the year in terms of games.
Mm-hmm.
I am very curious. Again, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, we're going to give GTA a wide berth." Obviously, GTA is not going to be in for Game of the Year material this year because it's not coming out. So, what's going to take its place? Are suddenly people going to move their schedules up? I'm going to be very, very curious around what happens.
Yeah, I think people are going to jump in quick because again, now they have to get out of the way of at least the first half of the next year, or at least the second quarter. So yeah, if they can get it out, they're going to get it out now.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm very curious of something like, I don't know. Yeah, we talked about Gearbox last week around how Borderlands 4 was moving their date up a couple of weeks, and people were saying, "Oh, is that because GTA is coming out around that same time and they want to get it out early?" It's like, no, it just turns out they just want to get it ahead of it. But maybe they knew about the delay and realized that there's going to be a shitload of games. August is when video game season starts, right? Madden comes out and they blow the horn and then all the game releases come out. And so I'm curious if they're just well, we want to get ahead of that. We want to be the first ones off the block after a quieter July, maybe? I don't know.
It's more quiet, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely see because we are really eating good, especially Game Pass.
100%. I've been struggling to get to my backlog because it's just been so much on Game Pass that I want to play right now. Yeah. Also, Mafia. Cameron in the chat brings up that Mafia is coming up. Yeah. He wants a good wedding present. I'll think about it, buddy. Yeah, I think that there's definitely a lot of good stuff this year. I think at some stage, probably maybe after the E3 sort of season goes through, I think we'll do a what's the next 6 months looking like kind of episode. Maybe we'll do a Patreon episode. Maybe we'll do a regular one. I'm not quite sure yet. But I definitely want to have a look at, take stock of, okay, what's come out what are we thinking about it, and what's coming up that we're really, really looking forward to? Because, you know, obviously games get moved around. There's been a lot of uncertainty around release dates for this year, of stuff even coming this year. And I'm hoping to see that kind of shore up after we've kind of gone through the sort of Summer Games Fest announcement period with all the trailers and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Whole Summer Game Fest coming up real soon.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, go check out that trailer. It is a bit disappointing that GTA 6 isn't coming out. I'm not a big GTA guy, but I mean, I still have played pretty much all of them, and I've enjoyed them when they come out. They've been obviously a big part of, you know, my gaming experience growing up, and obviously from a normie perspective, as it were, like these are the kinds of games that just people gravitate towards and will be the biggest release of the decade.
Yeah, I'm sure GTA Online sits right next to Fortnite for a lot of kids.
Yeah,
growing up on video games. I mean, because it's been how long that game's been out?
Yeah, like long fucking time. What 20? What? Because oh god, I can't even remember. Because GTA 5 was cross-gen, right? It was on 360 and the That's scary to think about.
So long enough where a lot of kids literally raised on GTA Online. So
yeah,
they have a pretty awesome, massive built-in base for this game, and a lot of people are gonna be looking forward to this. But that trailer is awesome. Man, it makes me want to go to Miami so bad.
It does. It has that Florida
I miss
vibe.
Florida a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure does. That trailer straight sex.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Very sexy.
We'll go through a little bit of the other news.
13? Ugh.
Yeah, that's 2013. That is insane to think about.
Woof.
Yeah. Some other news. Palworld has basically announced that they're going to be changing a bunch of stuff due to the Pokemon lawsuit stuff. Some stuff around gliding apparently came out, whereas you can't.
That's a weird one.
It is a very strange one, right? But I guess there's been some screenshots of it, like Legends Arceus, where you can hold on to the thing while the bird flies you, and they're it's basically the same kind of thing. It is weird that they're allowed to, the idea of copywriting and trademarking and patenting mechanics in games is such a strange concept to me, but. Yeah,
I'm kind of sad that Palworld or Pocket Pair is folding so easily before it really goes to litigation, because Pokemon's really putting a lot on this. Because like you said, they are arguing in court. You know, this isn't a clear-cut case.
Yeah.
So if they did go to court and Pocket Pair won, that would open the floodgates against Pokemon. So they're really taking a risk here, but I guess Pocket Pair just doesn't. I mean, that's Nintendo you're fighting. That's a big fight. So
apparently you're gonna have to use a glider instead of gliding with the pals themselves, and now you also can't use.
Which you can already do. So
so it's just okay, cool. They're just taking that out, and then I guess you can't use the pal spheres to summon them. They'll just basically just be summoned.
Which has been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
And very annoying. Did you play Palworld? I forget.
No, it's one of those ones that's been on my list for a long time and just been
it's fun.
I'm not really a big survival crafting guy, but I know that it's kind of not. It's more than that, and so I've been thinking about maybe doing it as I don't know, co-op thing maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. It just hasn't really jumped out at me as my kind of game.
It's definitely Arc with Pokemon, and the Palworld thing. So before you could toss the Pal ball and assign them, or you know, if you're in your base. It doesn't really help if you're fighting. I didn't see much of a difference there. But when you're in your base, you could aim and then throw the Pal ball, and then it would assign that Pal to that task. Right. That was taken away with that update, and it's very annoying. That is the most annoying part that they've changed so far. All this other stuff, whatever. You already use gliders. They just have to get those Pals different abilities. No biggie.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently Pokemon, the Pokemon Company, are really going in and trying to get as many of these kind of mechanics fought against as possible. Even the one around capturing creatures and then releasing fighting characters. I don't know, just so many of these things where it's Pokemon obviously is the most popular version of that kind of capturing monsters and using them to fight. But that's been in games for so long and so many different examples.
Dragon Quest Monsters came out first.
Exactly, so. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's why I'm saying they aren't. I don't think they would actually win any of these and trying to trademark it all. They're just trying to pretty much scare off all these smaller developers. Be like, don't play us.
Yeah.
Don't mess with us. We will bury you.
Just really fucked, to be honest. But It's what you can do when you
Yeah,
have
that's business.
the power of capitalism behind you. Another quick story we've got here. A bunch of we've just seen a bunch of delistings over the last week or so in the European markets. About 25 or so games have just been completely delisted from the Xbox store, including things like Kena, Bridge of Spirits, and Guilt, and a few other kind of like games like that. All the titles from the No Gravity games have been removed. A few other publishers as well, including some Annapurna stuff. We're not sure if it's like a glitch or maybe some like licensing thing that's going on or some sort of change, but so far TA was able to find like 27 different games that are just kind of just gone from the European market. So not sure what's happening
Yeah,
there.
I'm not seeing an update, so I guess nothing's changed. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was following this, and I was wondering if maybe it's, I don't know, maybe some kind of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Assets in the games,
Oh,
maybe
maybe,
that they had to
yeah.
take down, like something. You know what I mean? Like some something that ties these all together.
Some sort of
'Cause they're
licensing
really all over the
technical,
place.
yeah. But it's kind of a
Super
weird
Meat Boy.
eclectic list, right? You know, like Song of the Deep
Mm-hmm.
and Oubliettes, and I'm just kind of going through this list and be like Super Meat Boy Forever. It's such a strange thing, and also like there hasn't been any announcements or anything that this is
Mm-hmm.
happening. Like it hasn't really been in like any official chat. I'm very curious, like what happens to Xbox. I don't know. Like, is this a trend? There's got to be some sort of bug or something, right? Like it seems insane.
Yeah, and it's only in European markets, huh?
Yeah,
Weird.
so as far as we're aware, yeah. So which is equally strange.
Mm.
There's a few games in there I would definitely recommend too. Like I really enjoyed Kena and Guilt, and Song of the Deep.
Guilt, yeah.
Song of the Deep was fun too.
Huh.
So we'll keep you updated if anything changes. But yeah, keep your eye out and see if you see any missing games or you hear anything else. Let us know. Something we won't be missing is the next Gears of War game, which is, funnily enough, a remake of the first one. So just kind of, I don't know.
Is this just a remaster or?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, like so Gears of War Reloaded was just kind of announced kind of out of nowhere, basically saying that it's going to be it's basically to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the series, which is crazy to fucking think about. This year in August they're just going to be releasing a new Gears of War game that's going to be a remake or remaster of the first game, which was already a remaster. There was a remaster on the Xbox One a few years back.
It's the remaster of the remaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I guess part of it is that like they are looking to release this on everything. So it's going to be on PC, it's going to be on PlayStation 5. So I guess maybe this is just their chance to put their best foot forward, try to get people on the PlayStation infrastructure interested in Gears. We don't know too much about it, but other than that, like it's I mean, like Gears of War 1 is a fantastic game. I would highly recommend everyone play it. And if you have the Ultimate Edition, which is the one they did, I'm going to check out when that came out, actually. That's the one that came out 2015. So I guess, yeah, 10 years, I suppose. Didn't realize it was that long. But, yeah, I guess so. If you have the Ultimate Edition, apparently you get like a free upgrade. We don't know if it's going to have the same achievement list yet or anything. But very curious to see kind of what happens with it. I don't know. Are you interested in it? I mean, Gears 1 is kind of before things went too crazy. So I'm like,
I've never played any of these games.
Gears 1 is not a bad one to start with, to be fair. I mean, obviously the series.
Seriously, achievement.
Yeah, 10,000. Yep. Maybe they calmed that down a little bit. They definitely did for the Ultimate Edition. That definitely had a few other tricks you could do to make that a little bit easier. It was like expanded out and did have a different list from the original game. So I would be curious to see if this is just like a clone of that or if they do another list yet again. But yeah, I guess, okay, cool. I mean, does this mean this is going to be a trend? They're going to be doing this for Gears 2 and 3, maybe? We've heard talk for years around like a Phoenix collection, like the Halo MCC and all that kind of stuff, but we just haven't seen anything about it. But there was a rumor the Coalition was working on something like that.
I think if they announce this first, I would say they're probably not going to do that unless this does well.
Sure.
If there's a lot of interest in this, especially on PS5, like if this does gangbusters on PS5, we will absolutely see that collection sooner rather than later.
Yeah. They'll remake them one by one, right? Because they want to try and get their top dollar and give themselves time, right? I mean,
I think we'll see that for a lot of Xbox games. Like as these go to PS5 and especially these older ones, they might as well update them and then release them for both Xbox and PS5 again. So
it's a smart move, and there are a few games on there that are still kind of locked to the Xbox system. Be cool to see them again. I'm curious like how they'd pick them though. But your Gears seems like a smart move, especially with E-Day coming up as their kind of next release, trying to get people interested in the series again, back to its roots.
So, of course, I saw everyone panicking and losing their minds because, oh no, Gears of War is going to PS5. How long until we see Halo, man? It's coming.
It's got to be next. It's the next one off the rank, right? Like there's if you do Gears, Halo. I can't. You did Gears. You did Char. They've got with Forza. Like you've got Halo is pretty much the only one left, right? I can't think of anything else really.
Oh, don't forget Cameo. That's like the main Xbox
That's true. There's some rare stuff, I
so,
guess. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, Sea of Thieves already over there.
Yeah,
so,
true. This is true.
Yeah, Halo is pretty much it.
Yeah, that's weird to think about, but hey, and then also speaking of this, so the PS5's 3 best-selling digital games in April were Microsoft titles, and so I think this is probably spurning some of that discussion around like, what do we bring over?
Oh yeah,
let's get some shit over quick, right? So in the US and Canada, top 3 games for April were Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Minecraft, and Forza Horizon 5, which is crazy to think about.
Still doing gangbusters, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Minecraft obviously has probably gotten a little bit of a boost from the movie, and people get kind of re-engaging with that if they're interested. Oblivion obviously is a new release and is fantastic, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. And then Forza Horizon 5, I can't believe Forza Horizon 5 has still got the legs that it has. I think it's a great game, but I only play that game because I was basically forced to. And I think it's really, really good, but I guess they haven't released a Forza Horizon 6, so like, what else would you pick?
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, I bet it's gonna have a little longer legs now that it's getting such a boost on PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. When did Forza Horizon 6?
Sorry.
I mean, there was talk about how Playground Games are working on a new one, which would make sense. It is surprising they haven't done it, but yeah, 2021. So it's been 4 years since the game came out, and the fact that they're still supporting it is pretty unusual. But hey, if it's selling like gangbusters on PlayStation, they obviously want to support it and keep it going and make a new one. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see basically everything coming to multi-plat, potentially even day and date these days. I don't even know. Like the sort of timed exclusivity thing doesn't even sound like it's going to be around for that much longer.
I mean, it's going to come down to, do you want to pay for it and play it on PS5 and Xbox, or do you want to just get Game Pass and play it? Yeah. Like that's pretty much just going to be the choice. So
yeah, I definitely. I mean, Game Pass has been like we said, a fantastic vehicle to play stuff this year already. So
yeah.
Another quick one. FTC has lost its appeal against Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which was the decision back in 2023 when all this sort of stuff started rolling out. The FTC appealed it and have basically been told no. It got reported in Bloomberg that the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals basically saying that the judge was correct to reject the FTC's motion for injunction and that it's pretty much done deal. And the FTC's basically failed to show that Microsoft would prevent rival companies from gaining access to Call of Duty. And I think we've seen this with Microsoft is that actually the opposite has happened, and Microsoft are actually more willing to open up the doors and bring their stuff to other platforms and turn themselves basically into a third-party publisher at this point. So the FTC basically has no leg to stand on, really. So, yeah, I guess...
Honestly, I'm not surprised, because, like, Lena Khan was the head of the FTC at the time, and her and Joe Biden, the previous administration, they were incredibly anti-monopoly, anti-corporation. So if they weren't going to get it, I don't know, they didn't have a leg to stand on. Yeah, it wasn't going to happen. So, not surprising.
Yeah, it's I mean, at this stage, imagine if that appeal went through. That would be a real.
Oh my God!
Pulling that apart would be
what a disaster,
nightmare. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. I am curious of like how this is potentially tied into Microsoft's strategy and why potentially this is why they were so confident about it. With the fact that they already knew they were moving in this direction away from the console into more the third-party publishing market, and that the FTC would kind of have less and less ground to stand on, and so they felt more comfortable making a deal like this. Yeah. Another couple of ones to wrap up here. Apparently, Activision has sent a cease and desist letter to the manufacturers of Cronus, which, if you don't know, Cronus is basically tool that allows you to use other controllers and other inputs on your Xbox or other platform, as well as like macros and things like that for like automating like
there it is.
auto fire buttons and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Things like the Cronus Zen.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then you're like, oh, macros. Oh, okay. All right, that tracks.
Yeah. So basically, they're claiming that because it's potentially being used to cheat in their games and they can kind of detect it. The idea is that potentially you could be on console but use like a mouse or something like that, or kind of fuck around with what's available. And so they've delivered a cease and desist to them, basically saying that you shouldn't be able to make them anymore and we'll take them to court. Which apparently there's already been some people who have been like, yeah, whatever, we folded, we're not doing it, don't want to deal with Activision.
No kidding. That's another body you do not want to fight.
Yeah. I think it's kind of crazy, to be honest, that they can be like, yeah, no, you use this in our one game, you can't use this on a console ever again. They basically say any account that utilizes those devices on PC or console for the purpose of cheating will be permanently banned, which makes sense, obviously, that they want to be anti-cheat.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nuts that they're just being like, yeah, we're going to just fuck things up and potentially close down what has been a small sort of cottage industry of like this business, these couple of businesses like Cronus and Titan, who have these devices that are like really fucking useful. Like they have like being able to kind of customize your inputs a little bit, and again, like how often do you get a controller these days that has like an auto fire button on it or whatever, or like a turbo button? Like it's pretty unusual. And so being able to build that stuff yourself is like super helpful when you're doing monotonous bullshit. But I understand for multiplayer that does make sense that like there is
that's the line with the macros, the auto firing, and the fact it's multiplayer, and you're now interfering with other people's gameplay. That's their basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do hope they don't block all that stuff. Like this is my Xbox 360 controller.
Oh yeah,
it's an Xbox One controller.
Yeah,
I use that
exactly.
stuff. You know, I use those third-party things to work that. So it would be a bummer if they lock down all that. Well, I guess 360 won't matter. They ain't gonna touch that. But
sure, but still, like the idea that these manufacturers can't make these devices anymore. Like I have a Titan. I haven't used it in fucking forever because I used to use it for like 360 back in the day. But like, still, it's still like. I mean, like, I understand, like, wanting to, like, ban things on your own services, but going out there and, like, trying to destroy these companies, I think, is a bit ridiculous. Especially when they have other applications. And then, last thing, we got a little announcement here that the Fallout TV show for Season 2 has wrapped. They've finished filming. Still be a good while till we get the show itself, but very, very excited. Saw a lot of pictures and GIFs and that sort of stuff, but people excited about it being done, and excited about how the show's going, and really, you know, I can't wait to play it. Obviously, we'll talk about it on Lights, Camera, and Action when it comes out. We'll probably do episode by episode again because really, really enjoyed doing that. But yeah, I'm Shane. Obviously, you're super excited. Yeah, we'll.
Absolutely, that'll be day one.
Hell yeah, we'll catch on that as soon as it's out. All right. Yeah, like I said, relatively light on the news this week. It's GTA 6 kind of sucked up all the oxygen.
Plus, calm before the storm. Come on, next month's gonna be nuts.
Next month will be insane. Game Pass updates. Another kind of some big announcements. So we had Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 get added on May 7th to Ultimate, Standard, and PC Game Pass. Dungeons of Hinterberg, Flintlock, and Metal Slug Tactics now are on Game Pass Standard as well. We also had Revenge of the Savage Planet, which I'm really excited to play. Came out on May 8th. It's Game Pass Ultimate. So it's a sequel to Journey to the Savage Planet, which, again, I need to get back to again. And they also released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed, which is another Outright Games joint. So they're kind of like movie license game sort of thing. Apparently it's quite good. It's got like a 2.0 ratio. So I don't think I know anyone who's completed it, though. So I might want to get some opinions before I start it. But I'm thinking about, like, hey, you know, another Game Pass thing to play. May 13th, we've got Vermintide 2 coming to Ultimate and Standard. And May 15th, obviously, we have Doom the Dark Ages, which has been getting rave reviews.
Very good reviews.
Yeah.
Another hit.
Yeah, what a fucking surprise. It makes an amazing game. I'm curious to see what some of the people I follow feel about it. I know, like, preview-wise, people were really liking it, but they had some slight concerns about like the story direction that it's going in, which is like Doom having a story is kind of weird, but we'll see. I'm very, very curious. So that's only a couple of days away. On May 16th, we also have Kulbara and the Souls of Limbo, which I don't know anything about, but it's apparently releasing into Game Pass day one. So that's the 16th. Definitely going to have a look at that. And then May 20th, we've got our Firefighting Simulator, The Squad, and Police Simulator Patrol Officers coming to...
Game of the Year.
Yep, coming to Standard and Ultimate. I mean, I did just play Crime Scene Cleaner just a few weeks ago, so I guess maybe I'm just getting on the simulator train and we'll play Firefighting and Police to the other side of it. I haven't got into Power Washing yet, though. That's still...
I really get to that one.
It's too much DLC for it. And then in terms of stuff leaving, which you got a few more days if you're listening to this now, you got Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Chances of Sonar, Dune: Spice Wars, Haunty, Jurassic World Evolution 2, Little Kitty Big City, Planet of Lana, and The Big Con. That's a big list of games that you probably should play most of those.
And some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's some really
real good
stuff
ones there.
So you try and get on those as quick as you can if you haven't done already. I'll talk about some of my recommendations because I've been playing a few of these. But Chance of Sonar is the one that everyone should play. It's not very long.
And without a guide, if you can help it.
Ideally, if you can do it without a guide, yes. I know some people are just trying to get through it. You'll get through it with a guide in like 4 hours. Without a guide, probably closer to 6. But I fucking love that game. Patreon.com/HallOfGamers if you want to help support the show. You can basically donate to us each month. Any amount really, really helps us. We literally reinvest everything back into the show for like competitions and hosting, all other bits and pieces. Trust me, we are not retiring anytime soon. But a huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Avril Awesome, Happy Moves, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier07, Old Man Clown, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. Yeah, we really, really appreciate the support. And if you do join, you get access to all of our behind-the-scenes stuff that we do. So we usually record some content before and after we finish rolling, which is usually discussions around like, hey, why does my camera not fucking work? Or just some random shit around like what we were doing in our lives and other stuff that's not super interesting, but you know, you might want to give it a listen. As well as like Lights, Camera, and Action, which is our movie podcast where we review video game movies. So we recently did the Minecraft episode, so you can go check that out on there. And then I think our next one on the rank is probably going to be Sonic 3. So I think we're going to go away and do that. So just planning that for this month. But yeah, all of that content is available at any tier level, whether you're a $2 subscriber or a $10 subscriber or whatever it is. Like, we don't want to restrict content away from people who are helping support us. If you want to help support us more than $2, that's great too. Like, trust me, we'll take the money. But any amount really, really helps. And yeah, I know I shill this every week and you guys probably skip through it, but really, really do appreciate it. Bimestral Burden, our monthly theme. So we're in May now, and so we came up with our new theme, which is the blind leading the blind, which is where you got to complete games where you can give orders to your AI teammates and units. So I think RTS, thinks tactics games, but also I want to hear some like out-of-the-box thinking. We've actually got a little bit of a debate podcast coming up on our Patreon around what this actually entails and what would be included. I've had a lot of questions from people being like, hey, do you think this counts? And I think we're going to debate the merits of those. Probably get a list together of maybe, we'll see how many games. We'll get a big list of games together, I think, and just decide whether they count or not. Because I don't want to end up like in a scenario like last month where Jake was trying to get us to put Bendy in the ink machine and just because it has demons, because that doesn't count.
Does not count.
No, does not count. All right, I've been talking for ages, so Shane, I want to hear what you've been playing.
What have I been playing? Let's bring that up. Oh, the big one this, week or so, I did Tenchu Z in Japanese, so Tenchu Senran. Mm-hmm. The game's fun. I forgot I did the English version a decade ago now.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't played it, it is the epitome of a stealth game. You are tossed into a mission. There are people walking around. They follow very set paths, and the main challenge of the game is just figuring out how to get around them. You have a goal, and the enemies can hear you walking. They can hear you pulling your sword out. They can hear you landing. They can hear you rolling through bushes. Like, it is just about stealth. Very fun. I really enjoyed it. It does get tedious. You have to beat every level on easy, normal, and hard with the max rank. And that gets very boring very fast. But I really enjoyed it. I was looking into it, why they hadn't made another Tenchu game. Because I enjoyed the DS version. I did Tenchu Z, of course. I did the game, Xbox Live game, and then this.
Oh yeah.
Apparently Sekiro. Sekiro is Tenchu. That was going to be the next Tenchu game.
FromSoft.
And
yeah.
They translate. Yeah. Also, if you don't know, Tenchu Z is FromSoft, like that FromSoft. But yeah, apparently it became Sekiro, so that make me want to go play Sekiro now and try that out. So,
it's funny
yeah,
actually.
Cool game.
I'm just looking at my list of when I played it originally. I started in like 2009, the original game, Tenchu Z, and then I finished the game. Finished the game in 2009. And then I went back in 2011 and got all the normal missions done, and then went back in 2012 into the hard missions. I was like, I need a break between I do all of these fucking missions to get 5-star on everything.
No. The expert play is to do every single one on each difficulty as you go.
Yeah, that would have been the smart move. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Tell 17-year-old myself that I should have done that.
By the time you get to hard, you're just blowing through it.
Oh, like 100%.
Easy is the feel through. Normal, you've kind of got it down. By hard, you just blow through the level because it's not a big difference. I think the main thing is that they're a little more aware, and they will hurt you more if you're taking damage, which you shouldn't be if you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a lot of guides for it. If you just get drop for any combat you need, and then what is it, lurk and feat once you get 10,000 kills. That's it. It's easy win from there. So, boss fights are annoying, but again, if you have drop, that ability makes it a joke. Easy peasy. I did Little Kitty Big City, and apparently it's not leaving Game Pass anymore, so that's cool.
Great.
But fun game. It's a super cute. If you haven't played it, it's like 3 hours. You don't need a guide at all. It is very straightforward. You can just run around a city as a kitty and collect things and do missions. There's no missables. There's nothing. And when you beat the game, it puts everything on your map so you can find all the stuff you missed. Easy peasy. Fun game. Super cute too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
it.
It's super. I love those screenshots you put in there. It's just like, it's such a fun little cute game to play, and like,
really you get to be a cat. It's great.
And you put little hats on it and you just kind of have like a fun time and just kind of mess around with stuff, and yeah, it's adorable.
Talk to a raccoon, you get to talk to dogs, and yeah, very silly. Like you, Chances Are did that because it's leaving Game Pass. Fantastic puzzle game. Like, it's got the same juice that Portal had, where the puzzles they can be challenging, but you feel like it's a freaking genius when you figure it out.
Yeah,
for anyone not aware,
moment is just
it always feels so good. You're like, oh, wait, then that's that, and it's a domino effect. For anyone that doesn't know, Chances Are is a puzzle game where you wake up. It's kind of based on the Tower of Babel Christian myth, where you wake up and you are in a town, you don't know the language. You see a symbol, the first thing you see is a sign, up has a symbol, down is a symbol, you figure out that's open, close. And it just spreads from there. You talk to people, you learn what high is, you learn what different nouns are and things like that. And it's all context clues. It does not hold your hand at all. What you find out quickly though is every time you finish an area, you move up a level in the tower, and it gets more complicated. So when you get to the second area, now you have plurals, and you have a little more complex language. By the third area, it's getting really hard, and the symbols are kind of like Arabic. So it's very curly and things like that. By the fourth area, you're doing math in other languages. Like, it does get very complicated.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's no missables or anything like that one in that either. You can play the entire thing without a guide.
Yeah. Yeah, which is what I would recommend.
Oh yeah, if you do like Matt said earlier, if you use a guide, it's pretty quick. Don't use a guide. Definitely try to experience this just straight out of the box. Just go in, see how far you can get. If you really hate it, use a guide, whatever.
Yeah, there's only one puzzle I think I got stuck on, what I needed a guide for, which was the compass one towards the end of the third area, because I just missed a vital clue on like how to figure it out.
I was so dumb when I realized it was that broken tablet. I'm like,
I was like, of course it fucking was. Like, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I definitely used a guide at the end after I finished the game to clean up the the purple doors.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything symbols from one of the third floor. So I just knock it out. Very cool game. Very pretty. And then I started South Park Snow Day because I'm still doing my 2024 game a month thing. It's really boring.
Okay, right.
Like, Stick of Truth is just amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then I've heard that the Fractured Butthole is okay.
I think it's good.
Not bad.
I think it's a good game, but I think it definitely doesn't like it's not quite like a tight. It's not as tight as experience as like Stick of Truth. Stick of Truth is like a 12-hour game, and kind of has the kind of Obsidian like RPG kind of stuff down. Where it's like this is Fractured is more like tile based and maybe doesn't quite work as well, but I still think it's good.
And they've stated Stick of Truth is essentially like a season of South Park,
basically.
Like the creators did.
Yeah,
like it is like it does play out like that. Snow Day is distinctively a sequel to those two games. They reference those two games a lot, and you're still the new kid, and they keep complaining that you keep ruining their games and becoming OP and everything, but it's just boring.
Oh.
So Snow Day, Stick of Truth was a turn-based RPG. A Fractured Butthole is a tile-based
like tactics RPG.
Or turn-based strategy.
Yeah.
Yep. Snow Day is a roguelite dungeon crawler kind of,
okay.
Which would be cool. Would be very cool, but it's more like a horde thing. You kind of go into an arena, fight. You go into an arena, fight. All the locations you're in are the exact same. It's a snowy, it's Snow Day, so you're in a snowy area with some recognizable South Park landmarks, and then you fight the same couple enemies over and over and over again. There are 3 weapons you can choose from and 3 ranged weapons. That's it. You can mix and match some ability. It's just the bones are there for a good South Park experience, but it's real bare. You get a couple hints, and I know Cameron jumped into my stream earlier and saw a cutscene. The cutscenes are funny. It's South Park, you know what you're getting into, but yeah, the gameplay's pretty dull, really dull. It's a short game though, like 10 hours ish, so I won't be playing it much longer. I was just about to start the final level when I jumped into the podcast.
Right. Okay.
So.
Yeah. Right.
So it's real short. Yeah. I think it's gonna be probably my least favorite of these games I've done this year. So, but that's it. And I'm like halfway done with the achievements. I think it'll be a quick cleanup when I'm done. So, but hopefully what you played was a little better.
Yeah, so I played a few different things, a bit of a mix. Well, I think overall pretty good. So I did Dune Spice Wars. Cameron kind of twisted my arm for that a little bit because he was like, hey, I can help you out with some of the grindier stuff. And it fits into our theme, obviously, of being a 4X strategy where you kind of command units. 4X on a slightly smaller scale than, say, something like a Stellaris or like a crazy huge thing. But yeah, the idea is that you're on Arrakis. You play a game, and it kind of has sort of similar Civilization vibes, where it's like, okay, cool, you have a main base, and you need to basically spread out your territories across this area of map in northern Iraq and the northern side of the planet, because obviously the southern side is all sandstorms. And so you basically set up your games where it's like, okay, how often do I want sandworms to be a problem? Do I want storms? Do I want the enemy AI to be really high? Do I want the sort of neutral AI to be a big problem and really like aggressive? And so the idea is that you basically need to spread out your base, and each area that you go to has a village in it, and you basically need to annex those villages and then start building things around them and sort of spreading out your influence from your main base until you come up against your enemies. And so you have ornithopters that you send around to scout areas. You have research that you do. Again, it's a very standard like 4X strategy kind of game. It's a fun little thing. Not really my kind of game at all. It is very much like, hey, unit size, you probably gonna have like at max like 10 different units in terms of like battle size. So like it's very like small scale. But again, it's very much that like 4X, like these units represent like an army or whatever. And so
yeah,
you kind of have that classic thing of, okay, well, I either need to win by destroying my enemies completely for a domination victory. There's a hegemony victory, which is like taking over as much territory as possible. So you need to hit like 30k, and certain territories are worth more because they have special stuff on them. And so the idea is that if you want to try and get into a truce with someone and outmaneuver them, and that's the classic way of winning on the high difficulties, is to basically box them in with capturing territories around the edges of where they want to expand out to, and then just backfilling, and so they can't go anywhere. You also have the ability to assassinate, which is an interesting one. So if you basically have this like counter-intelligence kind of research stuff that you can do, where you can research your opponents and then get the ability to send assassins to their capital. And if you do that, if you do that, basically, if they don't detect it, eventually they just lose. They're just like, oh shit. If they don't have enough counterintelligence to detect that you're doing this, eventually the bar will just fill up and they'll just get killed, and they won't even know it's coming. But if they do, then basically they'll be able to see the bar and try to push back against it, and so you can like send assassins to try and make that easier. It's a fun little kind of interesting mechanic. But it's the thing where it's like you could, like, if you're winning militarily and you aren't focused in that area, they could just come from behind victory and just literally cut the head off the snake and you're just done. There's also one for, they have a stock market, which is basically you can buy shares and they kind of get sold. And the classic thing is that when you're on Arrakis, you basically need to be harvesting spice and paying a certain amount of that spice to the Empire for them to allow you to stay on Arrakis. And so you have like a tax. And so the idea is that you can basically go, okay, well, I have a certain amount that I'm selling to the market and a certain amount that I have to stockpile to give. And that amount goes up and up and up and up. And so what you need to do is basically kind of balance that. Like, how much spice am I bringing in? How much is I'm turning into my economy? And then how many shares am I buying? And so if you end up buying more than 50% and you basically own the Chone company, then you win by economic victory. So it is very much like that classic civilization thing of like different routes you can win. It's a fun little game, but I think that like it's very much not my kind of game. But thankfully, most of the achievements are relatively straightforward. The only ones that you really have to worry about are winning a game on the insane difficulty, which the strategy is basically to push it to basically
that's pretty much what pushed me off it.
Yeah, save immediately, build nothing but ornithopters, scout the entire map, take a picture, load the game, and basically use that information to box them in. And what the idea is that you build a village like right next to where their next territory is going to be, and you put a missile silo there, and they'll basically never be able to push past it. And so you just basically kind of ring missile silos all around them until they're kind of exactly boxed in, and then you can kind of push in a little bit to kind of cut them off from resources, and they'll be spamming you with trade requests, being like, "Hey, I need spice," and you just go deny. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to finish it because it is definitely like not my kind of game, and I was struggling a little bit. But once I kind of got the strategy down, it worked out quite well. You basically need to do that like once for a win on Insane, and it gives you all the previous difficulties as well. And then also there's one for winning a game without researching a single thing, which obviously makes the game quite a bit harder. You can play that on easy. Same strategy though, just kind of build your ring around them and just kind of hegemony victory. And you can turn off the other victory conditions, so you don't have to worry about being assassinated or any other bullshit. So, it was a little bit of a slog. But not as difficult as I was expecting. Cameron definitely helped a lot in terms of like pointing out how to kind of how the strategy worked, and he definitely helped me with like, hey, there's an achievement for getting 30 different territories, which takes fucking forever. That's like a 5-hour game, but you play it against someone else where you're not attacking each other, or you have like a truce, and then you can kind of just expand out. It just takes time. But if you're not into those kind of games, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it is very much the standard 4X kind of strategy game.
Well, it's a shame you said that now. If I'd known all that, I would have probably played it.
Yeah. I think you would have been fine, but like I don't think you're missing
way
much,
late, too late though.
Yeah. Other things I did, Goat Simulator 3 DLC was on sale, so I picked that up. So it's the Multiverse of Nonsense or whatever it is. It's fine. It's more of the same kind of shit, but basically the idea is that you've created too much chaos in the world, and so a giant capybara picks you up and goes, "Hey, you need to go and collect the You need to go collect the multi-reality stones to put in my tiara that looks suspiciously like Thanos' gauntlet." And the entire opening part is literally just the opening of Half-Life 1, where you're in the tram. Literally the tram pushing the thing into the beam and anyway, it literally they just recreated the very beginning of Half-Life 1. And it was fucking hilarious. And so the idea is they have 3 areas. One of them is like ancient Greece, but with some god kind of like columns and Colosseum and like a Hydra and all that kind of stuff. One of them is like a Detroit style 1910s village, like town kind of thing, where it's like you got like four Model Ts driving around and stuff, and then one of them is like a like Toon World kind of like, very colorful, very like, animal people and all that kind of stuff. There's like a whole like Scrooge McDuck vault and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. Like, it was like 7 hours, I think, just to complete the DLC. It wasn't too difficult. The idea is just go around, do all the events, create as much chaos as possible, and little portals open up to collect the other stones for the Infinity Tiara. And so one of them is like, I don't want to ruin them too much. One of them is like a puzzle-based thing that's basically The Witness, which I was laughing about. One of them is like Deep Rock Galactic. And then, what was the other one? I'm trying to remember what it was. It can't have been that impactful if I don't remember. Oh, no, it was like putting together a space hot dog. Anyway, I definitely recommend it. I think like if you like the Goat Simulator stuff, this is just more of that, but like even crazier. And yeah, there's a little bit of a grind in terms of you have to do all the instinct challenges, but most of them are pretty straightforward. There's Trophy Tom has a really, really good video guide for all of the achievements if you get stuck. There are too many collectibles, but that, again, it's just more of the same. So yeah, it's great though.
The games are pretty fun, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. I always have a good time playing those games. I'm always like, it's always a laugh. Even when I go back to the old ones, like when you got to redo them and stuff for the stacks, I'm just like, yeah, it's Goat Simulator. Like, it's fun.
Can't wait for the second one.
Yeah, one day it'll happen. I also played Roki, which was one of those games that got recommended on a TA article about like stuff that was on sale. It was like 85% off or something. It was ridiculously cheap. It is a sort of point-and-click adventure based on like Norse mythology, but not so much like, more like Norse folktale, I should say. So more similar to something like Bramble, where it's like those kind of like weird like trolls and Bjorn, like Jotuns and all that kind of stuff. And it's fun. It's not, I don't think it's amazing, but I like the style. It's not very long. I think I'm about maybe halfway through it. And the idea is that your brother basically gets kidnapped by the Raven God, who wants to basically use him to bring her son into the real world or something. Again, like, it hasn't been quite explained yet, but your brother gets kidnapped. You basically chase him down through a portal into a thing, and you basically need to wake up the other three guardians. You need to wake up the wolf, the stag, and the bear. And so the idea is you kind of go around doing point-and-click adventure kind of stuff, meeting trolls and just other mythical creatures, and kind of just having like fun conversations and doing puzzles and stuff. It's just sort of standard fare. There's a really good walkthrough on the PSN profiles, like trophy walkthrough. It'll take you through every step. The only thing you need to worry about is just make sure you examine everything that you pick up, because there's an achievement for doing that 50 times. But for a cheap little kind of like 7-hour experience, I'm really enjoying it.
It's funny. Bramble's where my mind went to when I read about it.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that sounds.
Yeah.
Because
it's definitely less.
Even the brother thing.
It's definitely less horrific than Bramble for sure. Like, Bramble was.
That's a dark game.
Very dark. I love Bramble. If it wasn't for that no death achievement, I think it would have been a near perfect game. What else did I play? Oh, The Big Con. So this is one of those ones that was leaving Game Pass. I had it sitting there for ages and been like, oh, I should probably play that. I know Cameron was a big fan of it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And so there's a walkthrough on TA that's really, really good. Like, it's probably one of the best walkthroughs I've ever seen on TA. Straight to the point, no bullshit. Like, screenshots of pretty much everything you need to see, so you almost never get lost. And just really, really clear explanations. No waffle at all. So definitely recommend that. It's a short game, took me like 4 hours. That includes the title updates. There's also a cheat mode for the most difficult achievement, which is there's like a mini game where you do a side-scrolling thing on a skateboard where you kind of have to like dodge things and jump over things. There's an achievement for like getting like a ridiculously high score on that, but there's an invincibility mode that you can just put on, and it just kind of makes the game a breeze.
Love that.
So definitely recommend it. It is dripping in 90s style. Like, it is the epitome of, like, your main character wears a backwards baseball cap and a plaid sweatshirt tied around their waist. Like, it is so beautifully.
You're trying to save your family's video store. I mean,
exactly. Come on. It's perfect. Like, I had such a great time playing through it, and there's so many great jokes and really good dialogue and a lot of weird, interesting characters. And so the idea is you're basically going on like a road trip to basically rob as many people as possible. It's kind of fucked up and interesting. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I'm glad that I got around to it, because I was slightly worried I was going to miss it. And then the last thing, I'll say the last two things. I played Oblivion, so I finished Oblivion. It is the exact same achievement list as the original game, so if you know what you're getting into there, you'll be fine. It's great. It's still fantastic. Like I like the improvements they've made. It's still very much like I think the more I played it, the more I was like, no, this is a remaster rather than a remake. I know there was a bit of discussion around like because they have changed a little bit, but in terms of like the original game is still running under the hood. Everything is basically the same in terms of like mechanically. The only thing that really changed is like some of the sprint stuff. You can sprint now with the stamina, and like the leveling system is more Skyrim-esque in that rather than just leveling your skills and that's kind of being it. It was leveling your skills and then you rest and you can level up, similar to Skyrim. You think about playing it?
I think at some point. I'm honestly not a big fan of the Elder Scroll games much, but it's so old now that there's so many guides. I'm sure I could blow through it.
Yeah, I think you'd be totally fine.
Yeah. Does it make you want to play? Makes you probably wish for Elder Scrolls 6.
It really does. It really like if I don't know. Like I was sitting here going, maybe I could do Skyrim again. I do have that Legendary Edition, but
yeah,
that achievement list is not nearly as good. And like I just like Oblivion is a really really well made game. Like it's it doesn't quite blow that. Like I think Skyrim kind of has that thing with like all the Radiant quests and the idea of like just generating more content and keeping people playing. Whereas I think Oblivion is maybe a bit more self assured in what it is. And yeah, it's probably more janky and like not quite as polished. But I didn't have a dull moment playing through this entire game. And the cool thing is that like you can just put it on easy and just like kill enemies in 2 hits and just kind of breeze through it and just not have a hard time at all. The level scaling is a little bit fucky, as it always has been in that game. That is one of those things where they just can't fix that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's on Game Pass. It took me less than 30 hours. It took me about 27 or so to kind of I did everything and did the main quest last, which is also what I recommend because I feel like the main quest is kind of the worst part of the game, unfortunately. But that's kind of true of all the Elder Scrolls games. I think we really need this kind of thing for Morrowind, though. I think Morrowind would go crazy with.
Oh god, that'd be so good.
It would be. I feel like Morrowind is probably more in the remake territory at this point, though, given that how old they.
It would have to be.
And
can you imagine if they remastered Morrowind and modern gamers tried to play that game?
It just
they would
work.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Like it is the most obscure, obtuse game. Could they just go, get off my boat? Go do whatever you want to do.
Find that guy who fell out of the sky and put his boots on or whatever and try and jump and kill yourself immediately just like he did. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're just gone. There are no objective markers. There's no that you're just on your own in Morrowind. It's very cool, but modern audiences would hate that game.
Yeah, I think it definitely would need like
a
Skyrim style sort of remake, like full remake at this point, just to kind of see, to kind of make it playable for modern audiences.
Which then a lot of people would hate it that like Morrowind.
Sure.
So,
and I think that is part of the reason why they kind of left Oblivion as it was, to kind of ride that line where it's like obviously it looks a lot nicer and they've kind of made some improvements to the combat. Like again, like they have made some improvements to it, so it is not just the original game that looks nicer. But it has so much of the original DNA in it. It still has all the jank. It still has the shit. Whereas, like, if you're part of the Mage Guild, you can make a spell that just breaks the entire fucking game. You know?
Did that?
Hell yeah! There's a wiki page that I was looking at that actually has like it's just called like useful spells, because obviously the spellcrafting in the game is so variable where you can stack multiple effects together to make a really really powerful spell. And so someone made one that was basically like the ability to basically ride your horse on water. Because you basically have like water walking on touch. So as long as you're riding your horse, you could literally just gallop across the lake. Someone made like a force, like a whole Star Wars thing where there's like a force push and pull. And anyway, it's just, it was really, really fun.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
And you don't have to engage with any of it if you don't want to, but why not?
Yeah, see, I think Oblivion's that perfect level where it just needed a nice polish and people are still going to enjoy it. Whereas Morrowind's getting too far off.
Yeah.
And then just like Fallout 1 and 2, when you get Daggerfall and Arena.
You need a whole new game, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, really, really enjoyed that. And then the other thing, I don't want to talk about this too much because I've only put like 2 hours into it, but I started Clear Obscura, Expedition 33.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Fuck, it's good. The parry mechanic is one of the best feeling things I've played ever. And like you can obviously, this game takes inspirations from like Sekiro, obviously in terms of like parrying mechanics. Final Fantasy X in terms of kind of like a sort of tone and story and kind of world building piece, and then Lost Odyssey as well, sort of similar kind of idea around like turn-based combat, the style, the sort of esoteric world building that it kind of reveals over time. I cannot wait to play more of this game, but I've been told that my entire household wants to watch me play through it, so I'm only being able to play it in like hour-long chunks, which is taking a long time. So, so we'll see. I'm going to try and put some serious time into it this week. I want to talk more about it, but like 2 hours is not nearly enough. So,
but I've heard very good things. People love that game.
We're talking like game of the year material here, I think, which is pretty early in the year to be saying that. But
what's it got to go against now? I thought it was gone.
No, yeah, exactly. So it's probably in with a chance. Also, that game is so fucking French, it's ridiculous.
Oui.
The first fight I had was with a mime, and he immediately erected an invisible barrier, which I just thought was it's fantastic. But yeah, that's me. So again, I've been playing a fair amount. I do want to play more stuff. I've been picking around. I've been still working on fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm nearly done with it, but it's such a slog. I've got a few other games sitting there. Like I want to play Oddworld. I want to do Blacktail. A few other bits and pieces where I'm like, oh, cool. But also the stuff in Game Pass, I'm like, fuck, I want to play that as well. It's just there's not enough time. There's too many games, not enough time.
It's rough right now.
Good problem to have. I'd much rather have too much to play than not enough. But yeah. All right. And I guess that kind of brings us to the word challenge, which are everyone's favorite competition that no one has been able to fucking guess. Look, when I picked this game, I thought we would have guessed this by the second week, honestly. But it turns out maybe I'm the only one who ever played this game. I don't know. Maybe I just was like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just expect people to have heard of this game, but maybe not. But if you don't know what the word challenge is, basically I come up with a game. I put it into our wonderful bot with a GIF, and if you guess what the game is on the word challenge channel on our Discord, you win. Simple as that. You get a prize if you want the prize. Otherwise, I just whatever. You get the glory of winning. It doesn't really matter. It's like $10. So, but every week I give away a new clue. The first clue is that this game has its own language. Second clue is it's part of a multi-game series. Third one is that it has UFOs. And I'm going to say this. People got really stuck on the UFO thing. I will say this just to make it easy. The UFO is not the central part of the game. The game just happens to have UFOs. Like more as an Easter egg kind of thing. I just thought it'd be funny. Fourth clue. You spend most of this game flying. Which again, that's a key one. Remember that. I've seen so many guesses that just completely forget the flying aspect of this. Flying is important in this game. Here's my next clue. If you do not get it from this, I don't know what to tell you. This series also has a game about cars, it has a game about building, and it has a game about insects. So if you can't think about what series that might be, think about what kind of game series is a big game series that has lots of different kinds of games in it. And when you think about that, relate that back to the first clue. That's my big fucking clue, because otherwise I'm literally just going to give you half of the title of the game at this point. Anyway, so best of luck.
Starts with
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to have to go charade style. So best of luck to everyone. I want to see someone get it before next week. Otherwise, I'm going to lose faith in all of my gamers. All right. Leaderboards. Shane, you got that up there?
Oh, I had the other one up.
Oh, yeah, the other one. It's fine. I can do the leaderboard. So leaderboards. Right. On TA, we have our leaderboard. So if you want to join, we will give you basically a top 3 every week of who's in that much gamer score this week. So we have Basham with 12,950. We have a Grey Shark with 16,210. And Thrash Forever with 37,070. I do not understand how Thrash manages to be week on week getting over 20,000 points. I just don't understand how there's enough achievements to unlock.
Yeah, that's insane.
What is Thrash Forever's ratio? 1.4. That's actually better than I was expecting. To be fair, though, I was thinking like
1.9 somehow.
Yeah, nearly 4 million nearly 4 million gamer score, which is insane to think about. But yeah,
I hope so.
It's Christ. Anyway, completions. Shane, you want to read through those?
Yeah, so we weren't the only ones playing games. Mistality did Black Desert. The Natalinator did MLB The Show 25. Alpha Seagull did Oblivion Remaster as well. Vex173 did Wonderlands. I'm guessing that's Tiny Tina Wonderlands,
yep.
or. Yep. Okay. Cameron did Dune Spice Wars. Rapture did Planet of Lana. Left for Legacy did Monster Truck Championship. Professor Pluto did Panzer Dragoon Remake and Sunset Overdrive. And Red Ninja Dan did Oblivion Remaster as well.
Nice
Panzer Dragoon Remake. I bet that was that for the Target on TA, I wonder?
I don't even know. Maybe, yeah. I know he was complaining about it like taking like 100 hours. It has some ridiculous achievement where you just kind of have to like sit there and let it run for a bit.
Yes, it does.
Crazy. Also, I do want to shout out, Mistality also just got a late completion in here for completing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle as well. So another great thing.
Good. I've heard that game's very good.
But really impressive getting Black Desert done. That's a big online RPG. I think it was like 200 hours or something ridiculous. But yeah, great work, everyone. Get those completions in. We'll read them out on our next episode. And I think it's basically going to bring us into the show. We're recording a little late. We're doing this a little quick. There wasn't a huge amount of news, so this is definitely going to be one of our speed run episodes. But I don't know. What have we got going on? Shane, you got anything you want to shill?
Nah, as usual, you can find me on Twitter, or not Twitter, X. But I'm not really. Oh no, I'm not really on there anymore. I guess just go to firehawkd.com. Yeah, I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. I'm trying to get a video out a day. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, but yeah. And of course, I'm on the Discord. I'm trying to be as active as possible in there.
Fantastic. Yeah. And as always, I'm Neomaster on everything. True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. You know the deal by now. A huge thank you to Shane and my wonderful audience and our wonderful Patreons for making the show possible. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace out.